Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too because you're watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting. Welcome to the people who are new here, and welcome also to the people who are returning. I get very excited when it's time for me to make these videos, especially when I have topics to talk about that I'm really excited about on a different kind of level. What I'm discussing in this video is artificial intelligence. If you've been following me for a minute, I've talked about AI before, but kind of in a different capacity. I did research on it because I am a professor, and so I do these things like to bring information to more mainstream information into the classroom. What I've been noticing about artificial intelligence is the amount of fear that people have wrapped around it. And not even just saying fear that it's going to take over the world to some degree, but fear that it's going to somehow eliminate the wonderful and joyful things that we love to do, especially in the field of being an artist. We think about things like drawing pictures. We think about like writing books. We also think about things like teaching classes. And we have these systems now set up to where if you want to tap artificial intelligence to do these things, you can do it. Everybody's been on YouTube for a minute and have heard those AI channels. They use celebrity faces and they use celebrity voices and they give them speeches that they've never even given before. And so if you don't mind, you may sit and listen through just because it may be positive information. But there's always this area of, is it a false representation or not? But I feel like you can have an opinion on that either way. But my biggest, the thing that gets my attention the most when it comes to artificial intelligence is the idea that we've always been way too focused on the end result. So you have an AI picture maker or something like that. It creates pictures. You tell it, I want it to look like this. I want it to look like that. I want it to be like this. And this is the output that I want to have. And then it spits back out something back to you that's kind of close to it. And then you can tweak it by feeding it the right information. But the point inside of that, the piece of that that's lost is the journey. So often when we are working on projects in our lives, we're working on art, we're working on a book, we're working on pictures, we're painting. We're so caught up in the end result. Sometimes people actually stop what they're working on because they feel like the end result won't get them what they're actually trying to create. They feel like the end result is not going to be what they were looking for, even though they're only halfway through and they can't really see that far into the journey. They feel like the end result is not going to be what they're looking for. So you'll see people have a bunch of half-written books or half-written articles or half-drawn pictures or half pieces of painted art. But what I want to focus more attention on is I feel like artificial intelligence is going to force us back into focusing more on the journey than the final product. Because now that we can get machine automated final products and we can get I wanted a flyer, I wanted this look, and bam, it's to me in less than 5 seconds, right? Now I think we'll be challenged to, if we want to find joy in art, if we want to find joy in the stuff that we create and share with other people, the biggest joy there has to be there is going to be the journey to create it and then get to the end of it. So instead of focusing all the time on, I got this amazing book I want to share with everybody because it's a very cool book, you're going to be more focused on, these are the people that I collaborated with. This is the amount of time that I was given to it each day. This is the word count that I was sharing with myself. This is the amount of research that I did. It'll be a much bigger focus on what went into this recipe as opposed to, here's the cake, here's the final project, right? So I think sometimes that we think one-track mind when it comes to new technologies and how they're going to impact us and how they're going to affect what we do and where we work. I think there's always going to be a place where people who are corporations or companies who do not care about authenticity of products or the authenticity of a final product, or whether or not it has a story behind it, or whether or not you can talk about the artist and you can say they grew up here and some of their art was influenced by blah, blah, blah. There's always going to be the copy print industry. So if you think about people that actually sit and create art on canvases, and then you think about something like the stuff that you might find in TJ Maxx or something, like the pictures there, while they're not unattractive pictures, they are like copy print. And then I have a strong feeling these days, many of them are not even created by artists anymore and are duplicates. They're mostly probably AI generated, which has been around for a long time when it comes to things like art. But when it comes to like those important and special experiences, I think that because we are human and we do have process in our lives, we do have a journey to do everything. We live in this 3D world, although we have a much bigger essence about ourselves, that we want to experience the world in this larger scale. We want to experience people in a more deeper concept. We want to have these experiences with others in environments where we're consuming art or we're reading a book and we can kind of collaborate and get together on it. The minute you tell other people that, oh, okay, artificial intelligence made that book, that it's going to lose some interest for a lot of people, whether it is created by that or not. And I think the biggest thing that we will be focusing on as it goes forward, if we want to continue to create art, if we want to continue to expand and grow in that area, is to be really steeped into the journey. We'll be really steeped into the story behind everything. We'll be steeped into the collaborative efforts that we have in these projects. We'll much more be focused on how we got there as opposed to what the final object looked like, since the final object can be created by programming on a machine, right? And when it also comes to artificial intelligence, I think a lot of people fear the whole economic aspect of it. Like it's going to, get rid of jobs and people are going to lose their ability to do a job because we have these machine learning robots who get better and better and better each day. They don't need to take breaks. They don't need to go to sleep. They don't get sick. They don't have kids. They don't have to go to school at night, and their schedules can be whatever you program it to be. And so we think, oh, what's going to happen? But I want to just remind most people that there's always been a level of automation in society that's taken over things that human beings were once doing. And when it happened in our era or in our, time of living, our lifespan, we always feel like it's so much bigger than the times when these things happened in the past. Because you got to think about things like when we left the agricultural revolution and went into the industrial revolution, there was a technology interference in that. I said disruptive technologies that came in and kind of really shifted the agricultural landscape. So when it was happening, the people who are working deeply in the agriculture, they can see that this is changing. We have machines to do this now. It is very expensive to have people pick cotton. We have these machines that can now pick cotton. You know what I mean? And so over time, these systems kind of left. Now you can have full, vehicles being created in a factory. It's not like when I was a kid, we would watch the factories in Detroit or Michigan and stuff, and we would see the assembly line and they would put the wheel on it. One would put a bolt in it. The next part of the assembly line would put the doors on. And we would watch this stuff because it was very interesting to see all these cars being made in America, right? But now if you look at those same types of factories, and we all know those jobs have pretty much dwindled, it'll be just machines pretty much putting those cars together from start to finish, and you have one person observing the machine to make sure that it's doing the job correctly, right? So even in something like that, when people have the time and the space, and it's not just something that's, I need this tool for efficiency, I need this tool just to get from point A to point B. If they really want a vehicle that was made with all this special craftsmanship and stuff like that, that was rebuilt and created in a different environment that has a backstory on it, it's still much more focused on the journey that came along with it. So I guess my advice with this would be, it teaches us to focus on the journey more than anything. And it also teaches us to always think about what are we doing in our lives and what are we creating, and whether or not what we're doing and what we're creating is something that has a journey attached to it. Because a lot of times we are like ripe for the picking when it comes to positions being taken away, or jobs being moved here, or jobs being taken there. It's like we're doing something that doesn't require much journey. So even if you look at something like teaching and like artificial intelligence, I've been in college and the higher ed classrooms for a long time. I've seen all of the little AI bots that can sit in front of the classroom, and the talking heads, they're much prettier now, and they're much more convincing as real people to some degree. And they can teach a class, they can ask and answer questions to the students. But at the end of the day, when you go into the classroom and you are face-to-face interacting with these students, and you have a full semester of doing this type of work, and you're doing research and you're showing documentaries and things are coming up automatically, and you're able to tell stories about when you traveled here and when you studied this topic, or people that you're connected to and what their travels are and when they studied a specific topic. The artificial intelligence doesn't necessarily have that. So the college experience becomes way more important. It becomes way more important to have a good journey as opposed to getting that piece of paper in the end. So I challenge you to think about artificial intelligent items, entities in that way. Where in your life can you focus more on the journey than on the final product? Because the final product is not always as important as what it took to actually get us there. I hope that made sense. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.